Greetings, YouTube. This is episode 24 of TEW 2016, WWE Red vs. Blue. This is episode 24, Monday Night Raw, which is the go-home show to this Sunday's Raw exclusive show, Fall Brawl. And we kick off the show with Commissioner Stephanie McMahon and General Manager Christian in the ring. And Stephanie informs the crowd that, if they didn't already hear through social media or through WWE.com last Monday night, John Cena suffered an ankle injury, which unfortunately is going to keep him out of this Sunday's Fall Brawl pay-per-view. And then Christian gets on the mic and he informs everyone that, while there will be no Universal Championship match this coming Sunday at Fall Brawl, they are working on a replacement main event for the show. And at this point, Drew McIntyre's music hits, and out comes Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Ryback, Bad News Barrett, and Damian Sandow, and they get in the ring, and McIntyre takes the mic, and he's like, well, what you should be doing right now is declaring me the new Universal Champion, because if John Cena is claiming that he has an injury, and he's using the air quotes here because he, thinks Cena is just making up this injury to get out of his match. And Drew's like, if Cena has this injury that is supposedly keeping him out of defending his Universal Championship this coming Sunday against me, then that means that I should win via forfeit, and I should be the new WWE Universal Champion. And Christian's like, okay, Drew, hold on. This does not work that way. You're not going to get the Universal Championship that easily, because while yes, Cena will not be able to defend his championship this Sunday, he didn't forfeit because he had a valid medical reason. It's not like he just didn't show up and didn't inform anyone. And if you remember, the contracts state that any champion has 30 days to defend their championship before they are stripped of their respective title. So therefore, Cena does have 30 days to defend the Universal Championship before he is stripped of that title. So unfortunately for you, Drew, you're not going to be handed the Universal Championship. If you want the Universal Championship, you're going to have to earn it, whether by beating Cena within the 30 days, or if he does get stripped of the championship, if that unfortunately does end up happening, then whatever we decide to do to crown a new champion, you would have to win that. You'd have to earn it. We're not just going to hand you the championship. But rest assured, you still will have a match this coming Sunday at Fall Brawl, which we will announce by the end of the night. And of course, they aren't really, the Forgotten's not really too happy about it, because they believe, they should, Drew McIntyre should be Universal Champion. And then Christian's like, but we do have a match for you tonight. In the main event, it's going to be you, Drew McIntyre, going one-on-one against Seth Rollins. And then, they leave the ring, and the Forgotten stands to the ring, and they're not too happy about it, because, once again, they feel like Drew should be crowned the Universal Champion. So there's no worker improvements. The segment got a 70C+ rating. And our first bout of the night, and a bout that had subpar wrestling, Little Heat, Breezango defeated the Vaudevillains in 7:49 when Fandango defeated Aiden English by pinfall with a last dance. Simon Gotch had an in-ring performance at 52, Aiden English 49, Fandango 44, and Tyler Breeze 50. Tyler Breeze's improving in performance skills. The match got a 52D plus rating. Next match, and a bout that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat. Neville and the Big Show defeated Bully Ray and Eric Rowan in 1307 when the Big Show defeated Eric Rowan by pinfall with the knockout punch. The Big Show had an in-ring performance of 62, Neville 55, Eric Rowan 44, and Bully Ray 57. And no worker improvements. It's just a match to hype up the Big Show Bully Ray feud that has been going on the last few weeks. The match got a 62C rating. The next match, in a bout that had subpar wrestling and little heat, Becky Lynch defeated Emma in 9:27 by submission with a disarm her. Emma had an in-ring performance of 56, Becky Lynch 58, no worker improvements. The match got a 55C minus rating. Next segment is a contract signing that is being presided over by Stephanie McMahon and Stephanie McMahon and Christian, and it features Charlotte and Natalya, and they're signing their contract for the WWE Women's Championship match that's happening this Sunday at Fall Brawl. And Natalya gets on the mic as she signs her part of the contract. She basically states how, she's going to prove to Charlotte how the Hart family is the best family in wrestling history. They've got, a long-standing history, and much like her uncle Brett, Natalya is going to beat the daughter of Nature Boy Ric Flair by the submission with the sharpshooter. I'm tripping over my words right now. Much like how Brett defeated Ric Flair to win his first ever WWE Championship some 24 years ago. And Charlotte gets on the mic. She laughs it off. She's like, poor Natty. I mean, you can't forge your own identity. You always have to ride the coattails of your family. You have to ride the coattails of Brett. You have to ride the coattails of Owen. In fact, you're riding the coattails of, your relatives who aren't, not even your father. Like, how many times do you mention your father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart? I mean, you talk about Brett more than you talk about your own father. Are you ashamed of your father? Because, I know I'm not ashamed of my father, the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, the limousine riding, the jet flying, the kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, stun of the gun, Nature Boy Ric Flair. I am not ashamed of my father. However, I think you are ashamed of your father. But be that as it may, while you live vicariously through your uncle, and you want to go in a land of make-believe where you think you're going to make me tap out to the sharpshooter this Sunday at Fall Brawl, back in reality, the Flair is going to beat the Hart. The Flair is going to pound the Hart into submission, and I will remain your Women's Champion and the Queen of Monday Night Raw. As she signs the contract, and the segment ends with them staring each other down. So yeah, Charlotte's kind of getting into Natty's head, basically, accusing Natalya of being ashamed of her own father, despite the fact that, her father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, had a fairly decent career himself, but yet Natalya is always fixated on, talking about her uncle Brett. So, is Natalya ashamed of her father? She does talk about Brett an awful lot. You don't hear her talk about her own father. So, it's just mind games by Charlotte. So, no worker improvements there, but the segment got a 63C rating. Yeah, the show's not doing too good so far, but Be that as it may, we'll truck right along. Ugh. In an abysmal match, Braun Strowman defeated Kevin Matthews and Pat Buck in 5:57, when Braun Strowman defeated Kevin Matthews by pinfall with a running power slam. Matthews and Pat Buck showed excellent chemistry teaming together, which doesn't really matter. Braun Strowman had an in-ring performance of 47, Pat Buck 16, and Kevin Matthews 16. And Kevin Matthews is improving his performance skills. Big whoop. Match got a 34 E+ rating. Just a way to get Braun Strowman a win and get him to show his dominance. After the match, Braun Strowman gets on the mic and he demands better competition. And that no work improvements, and that segment got a 73 B- rating, which was the best segment of the show so far. Ugh. Wow, that's even worse. Holy crap. In a bout that had subpar wrestling and little heat, the Lucha Dragons defeated Red Dragon in 9:26 when Kalisto defeated Bobby Fish by pinfall after distraction from Breezango. I had it set up where both Tyler Breeze and Fandango came out and distracted them. But, so yeah, let's just say both of them came out and distracted Bobby Fish, which allowed Kalisto to get the surprise pinfall over the tag team champions. The crowd was totally turned off by having a match between jobbers on the main show, which I don't understand because the Lucha Dragons are not jobbers, but man, this is actually worse than the Braun Strowman handicap match featuring two local talents. Ugh. That's all I'm gonna have to say. Ugh. Sin Cara had an in-ring performance of 48, Kalisto 52, Bobby Fish 46, and Kyle O'Reilly 55. And Kyle O'Reilly's improving in technical skills. Ugh, still, I'm shuddering at that 22 E- rating featuring the tag team champions. Oh, mercy. Next segment, Lana introduces her husband, the WWE United States Champion, Rusev. And Rusev comes out, and Rusev gets on the mic. He's like, Today is the 7th title defense as your WWE United States Champion. So, who wants to be the 7th victim of my United States Championship run? So whoever wants to come on out and get crushed by Rusev. That segment got a 60+ rating, no worker improvements, and the open challenge is issued by the Swiss Superman Cesaro. And that got a 68C+ rating. And that match got a 73 B- rating, and about that good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Cesaro defeated Rusev in 18:10 when Rusev intentionally got counted out. So, towards the end of the match, he felt his United States Championship slipping away, so he thought, discretion was the better part of valor, and he just left the ring, took his title, and went up the ramp and got himself counted out to save his championship for another day. So Cesaro had an in-ring performance of 69, Rusev 73, no worker improvements. So best segment so far, more than likely probably going to be the best match of the night. We'll see what the main event will bring us here shortly. And then afterwards, we get a hype video with the commentary team running down the card for Fall Brawl this Sunday. And it's just announced Cesaro will be getting another opportunity at the United States Championship against Rusev this Sunday at Fall Brawl. We'll also see Charlotte defending her WWE Women's Championship against Natalya. The Big Show will be taking on Bully Ray for the Tag Team Championships. We'll see the champions Red Dragon against Breezango, and then later on we will see the main event of Fall Brawl announced. So that's what the Fall Brawl card is looking like for this coming Sunday. Of course, John Cena's injury kind of threw a monkey wrench into the match card, but I'm going to do what I can to try to create the best show possible. So that got a 62 seat rating. And then in the main event, in a decent match, Seth Rollins defeated Drew McIntyre in 14:59 when Drew McIntyre was disqualified when Ryback ran in and attacked Seth Rollins. So Drew McIntyre had an in-ring performance at 54, Seth Rollins 81, no worker improvements. The match got a 72 B- rating, which didn't beat out the Cesaro-Rusev match, but still a strong rating nonetheless. After the match, Drew McIntyre and Ryback are double teaming Seth Rollins when Finn Balor's music hits and Finn comes out and, starts, beating up both Drew and Ryback, trying to fend them off, trying to help out Seth. And then they eventually get separated. And then Christian comes out and he's like, guys, I want to thank you because this has given me the perfect main event for Fall Brawl this coming Sunday. And the main event is going to be Ryback and Drew McIntyre against Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. And the show goes off the air with the four men in the ring, facing off with each other, kind of staring each other down. That segment got a 70 C+ rating, which kind of disappointing. But yeah, obviously doing what I needed to do with what I had to work with and the situation placed in front of me, I decided just to make a tag team match featuring, two of the best members of the Forgotten Stable, like Pushwise, against like two of the top baby faces on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, that's going to be the main event of Fall Brawl, and we end the show and we get a 70 C+ rating. Not too great, but once again, it is what it is. John Cena wasn't on the show to, kind of bump things up a little bit, although I don't think he would have been the only one. I don't think he would have helped that much with the ratings, but once again, it is what it is because we do have a lot of guys where their popularity isn't that great, which does kind of hinder the ratings at this moment in time. As you can see with like the Red Dragon match, their overness isn't too great. Finn Balor's rating isn't like, popularity isn't too great. Even Drew McIntyre's popularity isn't that great as of right now. So once again, it's still a work in progress, but there are lights at the end of the tunnel, such as Cesaro, Rusev, Seth Rollins, people like that. But until next time, obviously the next episode will be SmackDown Live. Until next time, take care.